Now let us see example 5.7. First part, magnetic field lines show the direction at every point along which a small magnetized needle aligns at that point. Do the magnetic field lines also represent the lines of force on a moving charge particle at every point? So what they are trying to say, so there are magnetic field lines similar to this, and at each and every point magnetic needles align in this direction. Do these magnetic field lines also represents the lines of force of a moving charge particle at every point? The answer is no. The magnetic force is always normal to the magnetic field. The magnetic force is always normal to the magnetic field. Remember, magnetic force is Q V cross B. Suppose magnetic field is in Z direction and particle is moving in X direction. So this is the movement of particle in X and magnetic field is in Z. So what would be the direction of this multiplication? What would be the direction? The direction would be minus Y direction. This minus Y direction of the magnetic force. X cross Z, that means I cross K. So I cross K is minus J. So direction would be minus Y. So this will not represent the lines of force of a moving charge. So this is not correct. Answer is no. It is misleading to call magnetic lines of force as lines of force. These are magnetic field lines, not the lines of force. So this term should be removed. Now let us come to the second part. Magnetic field lines can be entirely confined within the core of a toroid, but not within a straight solenoid. Why? So we have seen that magnetic field lines of a toroid is always inside that toroid, but some part of these magnetic field lines come out of a solenoid. So what happens in that case? If field lines were entirely confined between two endpoints of a straight solenoid, the flux through the cross section at each end would be non-zero, but the flux of field B through any closed surface must always be zero. For toroid, this difficulty is absent because it has no ends. So what they are trying to say, so this is a solenoid. So you know, in the middle part of the solenoid, the magnetic field lines are very similar and they are parallel to each other, but end they diverge. Why these problems arise? Because no solenoid is infinite in size. No solenoid is infinite in size. We assume that solenoid is very long in comparison to its radius, but still we cannot make it infinite. So till this solenoid is infinite, there will be some magnetic field lines which will go out of this area. But if we see the case of toroid, so this toroid does not have any end. So magnetic field lines keep on moving in this area since it does not have any end. So magnetic flux outside is always zero for a toroid. Similarly, you can understand this part. Suppose this is the solenoid and magnetic field lines are going something like this. Okay. So what would happen if you just coil this solenoid itself? So this will become toroid and magnetic field lines will start moving in this solenoid itself. So that's why magnetic flux outside the toroid is always zero. Now third part. If magnetic monopoles existed, how would the Gauss law of magnetism be modified? We all know that magnetic monopoles are not there. Suppose if there were magnetic monopoles, what would be the change in Gauss law of magnetism? Gauss law of magnetism states that the flux through any closed surface is always zero. So that we have already seen that flux through any closed surface for magnetic field is 0. If monopoles existed, the right hand side would be equal to the monopole magnetic charge. Let us say this is the monopole and the magnetic charge, similar to electric charge. There is a magnetic charge enclosed by that surface. Okay, analogous to Gauss law of electrostatics. So what we have, so let us see what is this is the law for magnetic field. B dot delta S must be equal to 0 in all cases. This is the true case. Now let us see what happens in case of electrostatic field. B dot delta S is equal to Q upon epsilon 0, Q upon epsilon naught. Now instead of writing Q, let us write Qm. That means it is some kind of magnetic charge. As we defined electric charge, this is magnetic charge. And you know what is the constant in magnetism? In magnetism, this constant 1 upon epsilon naught is changed by mu naught. So this epsilon naught goes down and we have a mu naught. So this will be our new Gauss law. B dot delta S is equal to mu naught Qm, where Qm is the monopole magnetic charge enclosed by the surface. So again, as we have seen in case of electric charge, this is the magnetic charge enclosed by the surface. Does a bar magnet exert a torque on itself due to its own field? So here they are asking whether a bar magnet itself exert a torque on itself. Does one element of a current carrying wire exert a force on another element of the same wire? So the question is that, suppose if we have a bar magnet, is this exerting some force on itself? And second part is, if there is a wire, will it produce some force or will it exert some force on other part of this wire? Answer is no. There is no force or torque on an element due to the field produced by that element itself. So if the element itself is producing some field, then there will be no force or no torque on that element. But there is a force or torque on element of the same wire. For the special case of a straight wire, this force is 0. So suppose in case of a magnet, or magnetic needle, this magnetic needle will not exert a force on itself. This is not possible. But suppose we have a wire. So let us take two parts, one part and this part. This is part A, this is part B. So the question was, in case of a wire or a conductor, will one part exert some force on other? Yes, in that case there will be a force or torque from one part to another part, because these are separate parts. Now for a special case, when wire is straight, this force is 0. Only for straight wire it is 0, but if the wire is not straight, it will produce some force. Why? Because if wire is in this shape, every element produces the magnetic field in different direction, and the charge moving direction is, let us say we take this part, what is the force due to A part on B part? Okay, so what happens, let us say the charges are moving in this direction at this point, and the magnetic field due to this element is something like that. So we will have some magnetic field, and since both are in different direction, we will get a resultant like QV cross B. QV cross B. So there will be some force or torque, but when this is straight, so what we have, we will not have any kind of force in that case. Now last part, magnetic field arises due to charge in motion. Can a system have magnetic moments even though its net charge is 0? So we know that magnetic fields arise due to charges in motion. Suppose the charge itself is, net charge is 0, but there is some magnetic movement. Answer is yes. The average of the charge in system may be 0. So again, the average charge on the system may be 0, yet the mean of the magnetic moments due to various current loops may not be 0. We will come across such example in connection with paramagnetic material where atoms have net dipole moment though their net charge is 0. So let us see this simple case. So suppose let us see only three charges 1, 2 and 3, and these are negative charges. There must be positive charges as well. So but if these charges are moving in a same direction, so this will create some magnetic moment which is in a particular direction. Hence the charge is neutral, there is no net charge, but there is some magnetic moment. So this could be a realistic case. We will learn this when we discuss about the paramagnetic substances.